I came home early from a business trip and found the closets empty. 5 minutes later, I got a text from my wife. I'm moving in with someone better than you. I didn't respond, just called my lawyer. 48 hours later, she realized she'd walked out with nothing. Now she's blowing up my phone with 47 missed calls, begging me to answer. There's a special kind of silence that fills a house when someone you love has deliberately abandoned it. Not the peaceful quiet of solitude, but the hollow echo of betrayal. I stood in our bedroom, now just my bedroom, staring at the empty closet where Kelly's clothes had hung for 6 years. The hangers were still there, swinging slightly from the air vent. Her dresser drawers pulled open, emptied, bathroom vanity cleared of her expensive creams and makeup. Even her framed photos were gone, leaving conspicuous, clean rectangles on dusty surfaces. I'd come home a day early from a business trip to Philadelphia, cutting short the conference to close an important client deal locally instead. I'd texted Kelly from the airport, heading home early. Thought we could have dinner tonight. No response, which wasn't entirely unusual when she was teaching. Kelly was a high school English teacher, supposedly dedicated to molding young minds. The house felt wrong the moment I walked in. Too quiet, too still. No music playing, no shoes by the door, no half-empty coffee mug on the counter. Kelly's usual breadcrumb trail through our home. 5 minutes after discovering the empty closets, my phone pinged with a text. From Kelly. I'm moving in with someone better than you. We've been seeing each other for months. Don't try to contact me. It's over. I sat on the edge of the bed, phone in hand, and felt something unexpected. Relief. The constant knot in my stomach these past months suddenly made sense. The late nights grading papers, the weekend workshops, the gradual emotional withdrawal. I hadn't been paranoid after all. Most men would have called immediately, demanded explanations, yelled, begged. I did none of those things. Instead, I called Sarah Winters, my attorney. They left yet? She asked without preamble. I had consulted her 3 months ago when my suspicions first arose, not for divorce proceedings but for protection. Yes, just found out. Good. I'll file everything tomorrow morning. Remember what we discussed. Don't contact her. Don't respond to anything she sends. Document everything. Has she mentioned the accounts yet? No, she will. Give it 48 hours. Call me when it starts. I hung up and began a methodical survey of the house. Kelly had taken all her personal belongings, a few wedding gifts she'd particularly liked, and her car. What she hadn't taken, any of our financial documents, the deed to the house, or the shared laptop that contained all our account information. She hadn't even taken her passport from our fireproof safe. That night, I slept surprisingly well for a man whose marriage had just imploded. The next morning, I remote deposited the certified check from my new client, a sizable amount that would normally have gone into our joint account. Instead, it went into my new personal account, established 3 months ago when Kelly's behavior first triggered my suspicions. My second call was to our financial advisor, executing the contingency plan we'd prepared. By noon, our joint investment accounts were frozen pending legal resolution. Kelly didn't notice immediately. She was too busy playing house with her new partner, a fellow teacher named Mark, according to my colleague's wife who worked at the same school. Social media showed them at dinner that night. Kelly wearing a dress I'd bought her for our anniversary, looking carefree and triumphant. The storm hit exactly 46 hours after her text. First came the notification that her credit card was declined while shopping, then the discovery that her direct deposit from work had bounced back because the joint account was frozen. Finally, the realization that she had walked away from considerably more than just a marriage. The calls started at 9:17 p.m. on day 2. I watched my phone light up with her name over and over. I didn't answer. The voicemails piled up, her tone evolving from angry to confused to desperately pleading. What did you do to our accounts? You can't just freeze everything. I need my money, Daniel. Please call me back. We need to talk. This isn't fair. I earned that money too. By midnight, I'd received 47 missed calls, 23 voicemails, and 31 increasingly frantic texts. I forwarded them all to Sarah without reading most of them, then took a sleeping pill and went to bed. On day 3, I filed for divorce on grounds of adultery, with evidence Sarah had helped me gather over the past 3 months. Kelly had been careless, using our Amazon account to buy gifts for Mark, location sharing still active on her phone, joint credit card statements showing hotel charges when she was supposedly at teaching conferences. I'm not a vindictive man by nature. The divorce filing was fair. Equal division of our modest joint assets acquired during marriage. No alimony either way. We both worked, selling the house and splitting proceeds. What Kelly hadn't considered: 1. My recent business expansion, culminating in the client I just signed, was technically still premarital property under our state laws. The new client's contract had been initiated before our cutoff date. 2. My inheritance from my grandparents, which made up 70% of our investment portfolio, was specifically protected in our prenuptial agreement as separate property. 3. The house was purchased with my down payment before we married. While she was entitled to half the appreciation, the bulk of the equity remained mine. What could have been an amicable separation with fair division became something else entirely because of how she chose to leave. Not with an honest conversation, but with empty closets and a cold text. On day 4, Kelly showed up at the house. I watched through the security camera as she used her key, which still worked as I hadn't changed the locks. I wasn't home, having temporarily relocated to a furnished apartment while the legal process unfolded. She wandered through the rooms, looking increasingly distressed at the papers arranged neatly on the dining table: divorce filing, financial statements, prenup copy, evidence of her affair. She sat at the table for nearly an hour, reading everything. Then she placed her house key beside the papers and left. That evening, I received an email, not a call or text, with a different tone entirely. Daniel, I understand you don't want to speak with me. I don't blame you. What I did was wrong, not just the affair, but how I left. It was cruel and cowardly. I'm staying with my sister now, not Mark. That was a mistake. I'm not contesting anything in the divorce filing. I don't want this to get ugly. I just need access to enough funds to get through the next month until I can sort things out. Kelly. I forwarded it to Sarah with the instruction to release 1 month's normal expenses to Kelly's personal account as a gesture of practicality, not reconciliation. Enough for her to get situated, not enough to fund a new life with her affair partner. The divorce proceeded with surprising efficiency. Kelly didn't contest anything, didn't hire an aggressive attorney, didn't try to fight for more than was fair. Whether from guilt, pragmatism, or genuine remorse, she accepted the consequences of her choices. 6 months later, it was finished. The house sold quickly in a hot market. After the division of assets according to our prenup and state law, Kelly walked away with enough to make a modest new start. I retained my business, my inheritance, and my dignity. The last I heard, she and Mark had split up 2 months after she'd left me. He'd apparently been less interested once she came with financial complications and emotional baggage, rather than the carefree escape she'd initially represented. I moved to a different city, expanded my business into new markets, and started over. Not because I was running away, but because there was nothing left for me there, except memories of a life built on what turned out to be a foundation of sand. Looking back, I realize now that Kelly's betrayal wasn't the end I had feared during those months of suspicion. It was a brutal but necessary revelation of truth. Better to lose someone who didn't truly value you than to spend a lifetime trying to earn the loyalty that should have been freely given. Some people have called my response cold, calculating. Maybe it was. But when faced with betrayal, you have 2 choices. React emotionally and potentially destroy yourself in the process, or respond strategically and protect what you've built. I chose the latter. There's a special kind of silence that fills a house when someone has abandoned it. But eventually, if you listen carefully enough, you might just hear the sound of a better future waiting to be built. Update: 4 months later. It's been nearly a year since I came home to empty closets, and many of you have asked for an update. So here it is. The business continues to thrive. The client I signed the day Kelly left has led to 3 more major contracts. I've hired 6 new employees and opened a second office in Atlanta. Success, as they say, is the best revenge, though that wasn't my motivation. As for Kelly, she reached out again 3 months ago through a mutual friend. Apparently she's in therapy now, working on herself. She asked if we could meet for closure. I declined. Some doors are better left closed. The mutual friend also revealed that Kelly has struggled professionally since our split. The affair with Mark became public knowledge at their school, creating an uncomfortable work environment that eventually led to both of them seeking positions elsewhere. Mark found one quickly. Kelly didn't. Several of you asked if I regret not seeing the signs earlier. I don't. I saw exactly what I wanted to see. A committed partnership with someone I loved. That's not naivety. It's trust. When that trust was broken, I didn't waste time on recrimination or self-doubt. I acted. Others questioned whether my preparation was excessive. Remember, I consulted my attorney when suspicions first arose, not after confirming them. That's not paranoia, it's prudence. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst, a philosophy that served me well. The most meaningful outcome of this ordeal has been a recalibration of what matters to me. I've reconnected with old friends, strengthened family relationships, even started dating again recently. Cautiously, with clearer boundaries and expectations. For those in similar situations wondering whether to confront suspected cheating directly, there's no universal answer. In my case, strategically waiting for Kelly to make her move provided irrefutable evidence that simplified the legal process considerably. Your circumstances may differ. The night she left, I found a note Kelly had started writing but abandoned in her haste. Just 3 words, I never meant. That unfinished thought summarizes everything. People rarely mean for their actions to cause pain. They simply fail to consider consequences beyond their immediate desires. Intention matters far less than impact. So here I stand, rebuilding. Not bitter, just wiser. Not alone, just selective. Not damaged, just different. And to Kelly, who I know eventually found this post through mutual connections, I wish you enough. Not everything you want, but everything you need to become someone who doesn't abandon their commitments via text message. Edit to clarify. Several commenters questioned why I didn't change the locks immediately. In our state, changing locks on a marital residence without notice can be legally problematic during divorce proceedings. Since I had already removed anything valuable and was staying elsewhere, letting her use her key one last time to see the divorce paperwork was strategically sound.